You kind of look like if TJ from Recess grew up.
Caleb, that's the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me. And we're recording, so that's on tape, and I'm pretty stoked about it.
That's going on.
I'm
there.
gonna take that
Welcome
and
back
run
to,
with it.
Welcome back to 3MFAers. I'm Caleb John Cushing, actor, writer, filmmaker, and now YouTuber, I guess, but we can talk about that later.
Yes.
Josh and Brandon, say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm TJ Detweiler. No, I'm Brandon. I'm here in Toronto. I'm also going to start making YouTube videos, but only as responses to Caleb's videos.
I would honestly love that. I don't know if you guys were on YouTube like 10 years ago, maybe, but there used to be a system where you could like respond with videos to other videos.
But I think you had to be like one of the people who were, had the deals with YouTube, I think. Like, I don't think it was open, was it?
I feel like I remember there being a period where it was, because a big problem why they took that feature away was the reply girls. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
The reply girls. It was just like anytime. So like if you made a YouTube video, you could also like, there was an option to have like response videos where people would watch it and then make their own videos responding to what you were just like commenting on it or debating it to get a conversation going. And I think it was back when YouTube was like experimenting with like implementing different social media features. But what happened was like models or like girls who wanted to be models would just like like any video that was popular, they would just like film themselves like looking really cute, and then that would be the thing. And then YouTube just got flooded with those, and then they were like, all right, we got to shut this down. Which sucks because it was a cool... I'm sorry. Anyway,
so they're
essentially
those little fish that like cling on to sharks and just take a ride and like feed off
exactly
of
they're parasites. They're a scourge.
I thought you said Klingon sharks, and that was way scarier.
Wow, now that would be really scary.
Guys,
with laser beams
the
on
ultimate
their heads.
predator. Klingon shark.
Fuck, I want that to be the new Star Trek.
Call JJ.
Josh here.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You guys can.
No, Josh, go.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Josh. We're in my living room, and I'm doing good. I'm doing a-okay, fighting the good fight.
Fighting the good fight.
Bravo
to you.
So,
I commend you for doing that.
had a nice long conversations and dialogue with some family members. So, but I'm excited to be here. And this is actually like a great highlight. So, I think I just said that like I'm a guest.
A little bit.
I'm excited to be here every week and all these weeks forward.
We're sitting in your living room, and you're like, "Thank you for having me." This is like all of your
right, and also like you produce it, you edit it, like
right. Yeah,
you do like a lot of the work, and you're like, "But I'm just so grateful to." No, but I do. This is also I look forward to this every week. It's like definitely a highlight of my week right now as well.
And especially, I don't know what I've been getting more and more jacked up to see each movie each week.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because we don't watch shit like Legend anymore.
See.
Why is Legend the first thing that comes to your head? Not Purple Rain or Dark Tower?
Thank you.
I hate you so much.
Josh just got
Purple
so angry
Rain
again.
is the answer.
I saw it happen in his face.
Don't group the Dark Tower in with Purple Rain, first of all.
Guys.
I love it how we each three have a movie that's like... not okay.
How much do I have to apologize? Like, how often am I going to have to apologize for Purple Rain? I feel
every time you bring up another movie that's quantitatively better than
that's
Purple Rain.
The thing. Now, because of what happened with Purple Rain, every time you try to bring down another movie, we're just going to bring that up.
You know that I don't care. That album's great. I really like the
Nobody's
album.
arguing
I really
that.
like the music.
Nobody's arguing that at all.
Okay. Well, I just feel like...
For the record... Listeners, if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, there's an entire podcast that is just this. Me and Josh freaking out about Purple Rain, and then Caleb being like, Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah.
The music videos were all really good. It's just that there's an hour of other stuff in that movie that is bad.
Oh, it's so
It's
funny.
on Netflix if you guys want to watch it.
It's on Netflix, I think, still.
So funny.
I will say, Brandon, like I have really enjoyed, too... I was talking to my best friend in LA, Derek Vandermillen, who's hopefully subscribed now. I told him to. Hope he's being safe because LA's being shit on right now. And by Aunt Corona. And he was saying, we were talking about movies, and like I was kind of expressing how I've kind of loved this podcast because I've seen so many movies that I wouldn't normally have sat down and actually physically watched. even though, it doesn't matter if you're renting them or whatever, it's still a good, a good time to see something different. And so thank you, Caleb, for
and
opening my eyes to like these, types of movies like, White Material, The Wailing, even House.
well, it's
And I'm really, and because of that, I'm really excited about next week, and I'm really, really giddy, so I can't wait for next week. But thank you, yeah, I've really loved it.
And I think it's been really interesting, and I don't know if this is one of those things that's stuck in your guys' head, but we are trying to talk about more school stuff and try to give more information and knowledge that we can share. So one of the things that stuck in my head going into this podcast was, were you guys there when Alec Baldwin came in and we were in, I don't know, second year, first year? Can't remember. But the first time he came in and talked to us, and he said that thing about, he was talking about Boss Baby, I think, but he was saying he just wanted to work every day, at the time, but that he would watch a movie every night or as many movies as he could to stay inspired. Or, try to watch some art. So that's one of the things that stuck in my head when we were going to this podcast. And as we're watching new stuff every week, it is very inspiring and it keeps that artistic fire going. And I don't know, definitely changed the way I've looked at a lot of things, changed the way I'm looking at different projects. And yeah, it's great because it's not just me watching the same fucking movies that I'm watching over and over again. If it was up to me, I would have watched A Knight's Tale 12 weeks in a row.
Of course. And
I'm waiting for the Redux. I'm waiting
Miracle.
for him to just be like, you know what? Fuck, I don't have anything this week. We're doing Knight's Tale.
No, on top of that, and it's, talking about the craft more and more, you kind of start to understand that, like, I just had this whole conversation, but everybody having an opinion, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and this is just three friends who went to the same master's program, talking about movies, all sorts of movies, and kind of how it pertains to whatever, right? Yeah. It's all our opinion.
It's opinion, but it is informed opinion. And I think that's what separates it.
Right.
Because we all do have that education.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a level of, you can go see a movie for entertainment purposes just to like get away and escape and whatever. But watching these movies for the podcast, it's been fun to kind of get an inside look of like how a critic, so to speak, when they go review movies, how they sit down and actually objectively watch the movie.
Well, and I also think that
because they're working while they're watching the movie.
Well, and I also think that for the three of us, when we're talking about movies, we're breaking it down, especially when we're talking about script and things like that, we forget that we fall into a pattern that we were in for, aside from all the other work that we were doing together at school. We worked on one single show for 2 years, and broke down that script over and over again.
Yeah, we did.
So, we have that dialogue already, that way of speaking, where we know what we're trying to say, and we have three different perspectives that we can mold together. And, so yeah, I think it's really helpful.
Definitely. Yeah. So this has been awesome. And I can't wait to get everything up and running in the sense of getting the more viewers and everybody.
Ooh,
if you like this, share it with your friends. Please.
Can I throw out an idea that I'm going to forget? So I'm going to need you guys to remind me of later. I'm not making this as a choice, but at some point I'd like to watch that movie, Caleb, A Boy and His Dog. Is that what it was called?
Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah, just as a throwback to Birdsong, because that was when you told me to watch that. That really filled out the vision of it. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. Anyways, total side thing. But
A Boy and His Dog is a really fucked up movie, but it's great. I like it a lot.
Well, I also want to watch, Caleb has a video on YouTube about him rating, like giving his thoughts of the best movies of the decade. And I very thankfully have seen more than half, which is cool actually. Like it's a lot of the foreign films I haven't seen. But there's two movies called, Raid.
The Raid.
The Raid
and The Raid 2 are the best action movies of the decade.
So I haven't been able to watch it yet. So did you split it up or just top 10?
I did every movie from 2010 to 2019 that I rated 5 stars, which is 22.
Dope.
Of them.
And then did you pick a top one out of that?
Yeah, so it's kind of loose.
Mad Max, of course. The way he talks about Mad Max
is on there.
Was it number one? Mad Max is fantastic.
It was like sort of loose. It's not like a set order, but my favorite I think is The Social Network from David Fincher and Aaron Sorkin.
See, if I was gonna guess, I was either gonna say that or not Alive. God damn it, what is it? The one with The Alien
Arrival.
Thank you. You knew exactly what I was. Yes,
Arrival's on there too. Yeah,
I liked Arrival.
that would have been my
Arrival's
guess
great.
though as the number one for you out of those two.
It's close. It's up there for sure. I like, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of popular stuff. Like I liked Her a lot. I liked Birdman a lot. The Favorite. I think that Parasite's incredible. I think that that's like one of the best things ever, honestly. But Social Network, just because I've seen it so many fucking times.
It's so good. I mean, it holds up incredibly well. I'm Sorkin. I mean,
it's Sorkin. It's Fincher. It's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross doing that fucking score, baby. 9 Inch Nails.
That's what I think we were talking about that the other day, where I was reading a whole thing where Sorkin, came in to rewrite the script and then was like, I like what they did, so please promise me you'll keep their names on. And then they all got nominated and everything, and I love that.
Yeah. I think it's great because it's funny because it shows a lot of Caleb's personality. There's a shot of him at the very beginning with his like umbrella hood.
Oh, the video.
thing.
I thought you meant the Social Network.
No, the video.
I was like, you think I'm a fucking asshole? No, I don't know. No, the video. Yeah, I would be curious, Brandon, if you do get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it after this.
And you let me know what you think.
Yeah.
And if you have any rebuttals, because Josh was like, I forget what you said. You said something really funny. I forget.
I can look at the text. But it got me thinking, like, because we talked about maybe doing something for the podcast, right? Like a video thing. And it would be interesting, I don't know, with an hour 20, depending, how we could splice together. Because Caleb, you said you put each individual review.
Yeah, I was just messing
together.
with that. I got Final Cut Pro, the free trial. So I was just messing with that. And so it's just, I was like layering audio tracks and doing video stuff. And there's like obviously like a lot of room for improvement because it was my first time doing any of that. I don't usually edit my own things.
Well,
but I
also for the listeners, I'll throw it up on all our social medias after this and our YouTube page if you're down with that, Caleb.
Yeah, of course I am.
So just, I already have the link, so I'll throw it up.
But it's something that we could like, because I know we talked about like recording the podcast, but I think also it would be interesting to do like almost like the trailer-esque version of while we talk about certain things of the movie to like have those scenes up on YouTube as people are listening to it in case they haven't seen it,
I don't know if we want to figure out our whole plan for what we're doing on air.
Yeah, this might be a conversation.
Oh, right.
But I do. It was interesting. It was interesting. It was interesting though. Like I spent like a whole afternoon doing this thing, and you watch it, and it's not like, I'm not saying I did anything like visually incredible. It's all very basic stuff, but it takes a lot of time to like find all your files and then like convert them and like put them into the program.
It's like,
and then immediately, fucking when I upload it, YouTube's like blocked.
Why?
For a copyright
did you
claim.
use songs?
Copyright.
Yeah. Well, so what it is I had to go in and see, because there was a bunch of like I used a lot of like music to underscore what I was talking about, and YouTube like is like, you can't make money off this because this is other people's thing. And I'm not trying, like, that's fine. Like I'm not in a place where I'm trying to make money off of that. But then there's one anime movie on the list, and Toho was like, footage from our movie blocked. And so I had to like write up a whole fucking dispute. Like you can like dispute it. And then I think I think it's automatic detection, so they flagged it.
Right.
But then I disputed it, and it was like, okay, like we'll put it back up for now, but Toho has 30 days essentially to argue, but they haven't yet.
And also, like,
that's the thing. You're just promoting the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fair use because I'm criticizing, but I say that, but I'm really just like, these are all my favorite. I'm trying to like get people to watch your shit.
But that's the thing. It is fair use, right? Because it's a review or a criticism, so it's not. Yeah, you should be fine. I know
it falls under fair use, but people don't care.
What exactly does that mean?
Fair use copyright law means that if you're either significantly changing the source material or using it for educational or art criticism purposes, then you're allowed to like use it in your videos, which I think that definitely falls under for sure.
It's not like we're trying to say, hey, watch this clip, pay $5.
Yeah, I'm not like, pay me to see this movie. You know what I mean? I'm not like uploading the whole movie for free. It's like clips from the trailer and one of the songs that I really like from it.
Yeah.
But they're like, no.
Just so fast. So fast.
YouTube's fucked. But so far, it's still up, and I think it was just an automatic detection thing, and I filled out my whole thing, and it seems. Well,
I had that the other day with an Instagram post that I put up, and it was it was an edited thing, and it had a song in the edit that they flagged. So it was like, your video's been flagged in like 5 out of whatever 100 and something countries, and then you look down the list, and I couldn't even figure out which countries it was flagged in. Like, It wasn't Canada. It wasn't the US. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, if it's not Canada and the US,
Right.
Well, that was the
Why
thing
are
too.
you-
Is it was like it was so weird. Same thing, Brandon. Because when I like one of the I had to rearrange some clips. The Lighthouse is also on the list, and I had to rearrange a clip because I not made fun of, but I put a little thing of Willem Dafoe doing his Green Goblin in there, and then that Spider-Man clip is like blocked in Europe.
It's so it's like it was a
So like Germany said I couldn't upload my video because there's a thing with the Green Goblin in it, which isn't even what I'm talking about.
that's the thing.
So it's just
it was like
funny.
I think it was like the song that I was using was like fine in England, but it wasn't fine in like France or something. And I was like, that's fine. So I can keep the video up and it's not gonna be played in France, whatever. Like it's cool. Like I get it, and that's fine, that's their rules, but they take down the whole video originally.
Yeah.
Because it's blocked in France or whatever one country. So it's a weird thing, right? I understand if it's blocked in your country and they take the video down right away. But I don't know. I also don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I got to look into all this way more.
It's very complicated. Yeah. It is very confusing.
Oh, I miss the simple days where somebody could just make a stupid video about cupcakes or shoes.
Or cats.
Or cats.
Like imagine if you were the
I
first
miss
guy.
old YouTube.
Do you
House was the first cat video. No, but when the scene of the cat playing the piano and
is
House,
that the first?
that's the
No,
first cat
it's
meme.
not. That's insane.
It was 1977. Can you think of an earlier one?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Pre-cat meme. I guess the Egyptian hieroglyphs maybe. The first cat meme.
The Sphinx.
That's true. I mean, if you go way back.
Yeah, if you go OG.
The Sphinx is.
If you go back far enough, everything's been done. Every story's been told.
Nothing is original.
Yeah.
Watch Rick and Morty.
Speaking of originals, great movie. Watched it this morning. Gerald and Bob.
What'd you say?
I watched a great movie this morning for the podcast. Gerald and Bob.
Jailed and Bob.
Oh, he watched a completely different movie.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right one.
I'm just joking.
Give us the plot synopsis
We
of your
watched-
movie. No, I want to hear the
No,
plot
I want to hear what
synopsis of
happens in this
In
movie. I
Gerald
didn't
and
see it.
Bob.
Yeah, and Gerald
I
and
didn't
Bob.
have the rest of the bit set up. I don't know. Don't do that.
You gotta, if you,
You
look,
have to-
bro, it's yes and. If you come in with a setup, I'm gonna be like, okay, fill this premise out. It's improv.
I'm bailing. I told you.
Which you still have to fucking watch. You still have to watch Middle Edition Schwartz. I'm
well,
upset at you because I know you would have told me. If you
You're
did.
right. You're right. We would have had that conversation. For the record, the only reason I've yet to watch it is because we saw it on Broadway. So it's just not as pressing.
I understand.
That's all.
Watch the second one. It's called Lost.
I'm gonna watch them all.
It's incredible. But I start with that one because it's the best.
I'm going to
one,
watch
and
them
it's
all.
like-
I'm just stuck in the middle of Snowpiercer right now. And it's amazing.
Oh,
True.
you're still in Snowpiercer.
Real quick, I did watch episode 3 of Mystic Quest, Brandon, about the Nazis and the hate groups.
Oh my God.
And that was
It's getting
funny.
better.
That was funny. So I'll keep you posted.
Please do, especially when you get to, I think it's either episode 4 or 5. I think it's 5, but it's like a short film. You'll see. I think you're
Yes,
going to love it.
that's what you said, and I
The
can't wait.
pocket
I'll let you know.
episode.
Yeah.
So
All right. So anyway, sorry. Back to what we're doing. So it was my turn. Yes. And
Yes.
I had us all watch a movie called Harold and Maude. It's a cult classic from 1971. It's Hal Ashby's second most famous movie, I would say, after Being There. It tells the story of Harold, which is a young, rich boy living in San Francisco who is obsessed with the idea of death and stages suicides for attention. And he meets an old woman, Maude, played by Academy Award winner Ruth Gordon, in one of my favorite performances of all time.
Did she win for this?
And for Rosemary's Baby a couple years before this.
Okay.
Oh, and that's a
Okay.
great. That's a
Okay.
No, I was
Right, so
hoping
yeah.
that she had been nominated for this. That's all.
I don't think so. This movie didn't do well when it came out. But anyway, so what did you guys think?
You want to go first, Josh?
sure. Okay. It's a cult classic. I can see where the humor is
Okay.
because of dichotomy, and we haven't used that word in a long time. The first scene, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And when his first little stunt happens, I was like, "Oh wow!" I was like, "Oh, this is dark."
Oh, it's a dark.
And then when his mom reacts, I was like, "Oh, okay." But I kind of I felt it was cool because it was just kind of the same. Like it was a lot of these stunts, and then the interactions with Maude, and when she finally comes in, I thought was great. I mean, my favorite thing of the whole movie was the soundtrack and the music.
Cat
thought
Stevens, baby. It was
the
great. I
original
love the
music
music.
Fantastic.
was fantastic, and it really told the story. And I'll get into a lot more of my stuff, but Not my cup of tea, but I look forward to talking about it.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, so I going into it, I did not have any expectations or anything. I liked that it was 90 minutes, so that was a good start. Like going into it, I was like, okay, cool. This is very palatable. That's great. When it started, like Josh said, that first scene is crazy, and I was like, okay, great, love it. I'm interested. Let's see where this goes. The first half an hour, I was interested. I liked what was happening, but I didn't know where it was going, and it was starting to lose me. Then he meets Maude, and I'm like, okay, this is great, hilarious. You know, the second half an hour of the movie, the middle third was getting better and better and very funny. The last third, which I think, like Caleb, you expected this is where I was going to go with it. The last third got me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm definitely a sucker for that stuff, but I see why it's a cult classic. It got me. It was way more emotional than I thought it was going to be, way more visceral. Yeah, and kept on subverting my expectations, which was nice, especially for a movie that was, when was this made? The 70s? 70 something?
71.
So, the kid, by the way, should I know who it is?
Bud Cort. He was like famous for a while in that era of like, you know, he was in a lot of Roger Altman movies. He hasn't really done anything, although
he was the dad.
He was the dad. So Josh and I watched this movie like the same night we hung out and watched White Material, called But I'm a Cheerleader. It's like a very famous cult lesbian movie.
Great movie, Brandon. Check it out.
It's on the Criterion channel. It's got Natasha Lyonne in the lead.
Honestly, I should have requested that for a comedy.
So it's a little older as well, eh?
In 90
something.
Okay.
It's a 1990.
But he plays like the dad in it, and he's fucking hysterical. So I was wondering if
Well, that's what I was wondering, if he was a guy that I recognized as an adult. I just kind of assumed, but...
Well, it's funny because his picture on, like, when you search his name is kind of serial killer-esque.
Yeah.
No shade. Like, I'm not trying to, like... But it's like, because his beard isn't full and, like, it's the thin, long,
he has the baby
hair.
face, but, like, the beard also.
Yeah,
it's very, like, in between,
yeah,
like, a child and an adult. Yeah,
anyway.
So at the beginning, it was one of those movies where I think if you only watch the first 20 minutes and he's, you know, the character is stuck where the character is, and the actor's doing a very good job keeping that range small. And then as it breaks open, I mean, I thought he was doing a phenomenally unique job by the end of it. Like, that is him. Nobody else is ever going to do it like that. He was so calm and comfortable in himself. His private moments were fantastic. So we talked about this before. We were going to try to explain stuff. My bad. A private moment is an acting thing. It's an acting... not activity, fucking, I don't know, lesson and exercise. Thank you, Caleb. Sorry,
you're welcome.
It's 10 in the morning. I haven't slept a lot. So it's an acting exercise where you go and create a private moment on stage in front of a bunch of people. And the idea is to be comfortable and private in yourself while in front of other people. And it's the practice of working on that. I thought that this kid had a lot of moments as the character, especially all those moments right before he fakes these death scenes and stuff that were very private and calm and not rushed. And it was just very impressive how innately himself and the character it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I will add that, like, for the use of the private moment, it's just so you can kind of, like, the circle of concentration, right? You're trying to block everything out and you're trying to act as if you were by yourself. For the stuff with the death scene. Okay, so Caleb and chime in, Caleb, whenever you feel like.
Sure.
But so the first scene we're talking about is he's at this church and his like living room or this room in his house, this huge house, and he hangs himself.
Yeah. And mom comes
and it's right away, like the shot opens up with just at his feet. You don't see his head or anything like that. He lights candles, and then with the layering of music that's maybe a little bit up tempo, whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, he hangs. His mom comes in, looks at him, and then makes a phone call. And I literally said to the TV, I was like, "What the fuck?" You know. And so he goes through this life being like faking his own deaths. And the first thing I thought was that he was a ghost, that he was like a legit, it's like a sci-fi thing. Like, is he already dead? Like Casper? Yeah, totally. And I was like, maybe he's just a spirit that occupies this world, but he never left, and his mom doesn't know that he's a ghost. But then it's like the wrist being slit in the bathroom. There's blood everywhere, she's like, "I'm just tired of this," so he has to go to a therapist.
Yeah,
and then the floating dead man float while she's swimming. I'm just gonna go through all of them because whatever.
Well, very quickly, that was real, by the way.
What?
He actually held his breath in that float so they could get the shot.
Wow, because it looked like a fake body.
No,
from the top.
They didn't have the budget for a fake body or like an oxygen thing or anything, so he was like floating in that pool while the actress who played his mom, did the lap and everything, which I thought was fucking amazing.
It's amazing.
And I wonder how many times mid-shot
he's just like, yeah.
Well, I also wonder, like, they must have just gotten one of those shots. And they're like, "We'll use it. We'll fine. Catch your breath."
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Well, because then subsequently, Ryan and I decided to see how long we could hold our breath.
That's one of my favorite games. Like when there's like underwater scenes in movies, you like hold your breath for as long as they do to see if it's like actually
right.
And it never works.
And from a family, well, it's funny because it's from a family of scuba diver. Like my grandfather was a master scuba diver, taught all of us.
Okay,
it's something that you can train. You can train your lungs to. You have to be able to. It's gradual. It's interval, right? It's not just you can't just go in there. Yeah. So anyway, and then like. His mom's like, "Oh, you're gonna be married or whatever," and then he sets himself on fire. But then he's
self-immolation,
and
he commits seppuku.
The Japanese ritual.
It's called harikiri. Who's Harry Carey? And then he fucking stabs himself with the knife. Yeah, I mean we're jumping around and we're going through kind of everything. But if we can go back to the beginning for a minute, I love that opening scene because, have you guys seen The Graduate?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like in a lot of ways, this is a very similar movie aesthetically and thematically. It's about like a young man who's very disaffected, trying to find his place in the world, meeting an older woman, like finding that relationship. You have like Simon and Garfunkel doing the music, like very iconic music for Graduate, and this is Cat Stevens. So like there's a lot of really similarities, but I think the sense of humor in this is much darker, and it hits me a lot more viscerally. It's like the kind of stuff I really enjoy. Like that moment where he puts on the record and Josh, you just see his feet and then he hangs himself and his mom coming in and just says, she's like, "Really, Harold?" And then just like totally dismissing it. And you immediately understand all through visual storytelling. You didn't have to have him have like a fucking monologue in the beginning or like a voiceover. You just immediately understand that relationship, that he's doing this for attention. And his mom is completely self-absorbed. She's a San Francisco socialite. She fills out his dating profile with her preferences.
Oh yeah,
like when she's at the computer.
Do you think that sex is overused on TV? Like
she was so fun. I thought she was so funny.
Amazing.
Mom. She just was such a good actress. Vivian.
Her
Pickles.
ambivalence was fantastic. I would have loved, and I mean, obviously it was shot way back, but that's one of the audition tapes I would have loved to see. Her coming in with whatever character that was at the beginning, like because she's doing such a specific thing. I would have loved to seen that audition tape, but yeah, she was fantastic. I mean, the last time when he's with the actress and they, so one of the last dates he's on, this actress comes in and she's really,
her name is Sunshine,
and she's so over the top. It's amazing. I mean, it cracked me up, but he goes and, uses a fake knife and fake kills himself, and she just immediately starts talking about how she was in Romeo and Juliet and picks up the knife and starts, stabbing herself and falls, and she's dying, and he's looking at her having no idea what's going on, and then the mom walks in.
And then he's the one who's like, "Wait, you're being weird."
So he picks up like the fake knife. They're both covered in blood. She's laying down. The mom walks in with the butler or whatever holding a drink, and it's like, "Harold, that was your last date." It just
that was your last chance. Now you have to go to the army.
And it was like,
which is an amazing subplot as well. And
with his uncle,
but also my
God.
Even in that situation, I had the moment of, she's gonna think he actually killed somebody for the first time because it's not him. But again, just the sticking with the ambivalence of clearly he didn't kill anybody. He's just wanting attention, and that's your last date. I killed me.
Yeah.
Wait, she didn't kill herself?
No, dude.
Wait, you thought the girl killed herself? No, it was a fake knife.
Yeah, of course.
It's a fake knife, Josh.
Yeah, but maybe she doesn't know how to use it.
No,
what do you mean?
There's a point where she's
fake?
like,
"It's not a oh my God."
I did honestly think that she's a great actress. She was
committed.
No,
she clearly has that actor studio training. But
come on, you guys definitely laughed when she was like, he was really helpful in pursuing and making my instrument better. That's an
Instrument means my
yeah,
body.
instrument
like,
means
yeah,
my body. I
Back
died.
in the 70s, 100%.
I felt like you guys would think that was funny.
That whole
but the
scene got me.
uncle, I laugh every time when you first see him in the beginning. He has like two scenes. There's like the beginning of the movie and one towards the end. And in the beginning, when he's thinking, he obviously Harold doesn't want to go, but his mom like sets him up and he's like, yeah, like I fought for General MacArthur. He's got a fucking like portrait of Nixon hanging in his office. He's like, the army's great. And then it cuts to him after he's already said all these things and he's missing a fucking arm. He's just like, I became who I am because of the army. And like, he has like a lever in his suit that he pulls and the sleeve folds out into a salute. It's just so fucking funny.
Hilarious.
Ridiculous in the best way.
And that's the thing is this movie, it's very dark. Like it's about a boy with suicidal ideations, which like as the movie goes on, you kind of realize it is just for attention. And I think thematically that's really powerful. And we can get into the ending and why I think that works really well. But
yeah.
It's very funny. It's very funny. It's so ridiculous.
Also, can you explain? Oh,
just because of what you just said, just really quick. That ending is so. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I've seen this." And if I'm wrong, please let me know. But it felt like that's the scene that I've seen in pop culture a lot. And I didn't realize that that's what it was from. Right? Like Simpsons has done that. Family Guy, like South Park. I feel like that's been done. Like that's just that moment. You know.
Yeah. Do you mean driving off the cliff?
Yeah. And then him obviously being up there and, all that. Like, I feel like I've seen Bart do that. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
Did
the film, like, does it go into a still for you guys too?
It did. Yeah, it did. I thought it paused.
When the car jumps off the cliff, it paused.
Which is a very Thelma and Louise thing. Which I think that if that was earlier, I don't have the entire like film history timeline in my brain. So I don't know if that was before this. But I'm sure it was.
But sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to know. What were you going to say?
Well, yeah, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, I can't believe we haven't jumped into the world's greatest grandma.
I mean,
well, I want to set everything up before we get into Maude because that's most of the converation is going to be about her.
Can you explain? Well, I was going to say, can you explain the second scene that the uncle's in terms of like, them like walking by the cliff, and then but the reason I brought that up was because Maude comes in and takes his hand or whatever, and then he chases her or whatever. So that. But
want to give a little explanation of Maude real quick?
So Harold is a very, and normally I hate movies about rich people that are bored, like on wealthy ennui, like just like, oh, I'm rich, but it doesn't matter because I'm not happy. Because like stories like, I really don't like Lost in Translation, which is like I know that movie, everybody loves that movie, but it's like, I don't care about this person and his problems. But when they turn it on its head, like Harold is like a kid. He's a teenager. He doesn't really know what he's doing in life. He's directionless. He thinks that he's obsessed with these things. He thinks that life isn't worth living because he's very sheltered and he doesn't have like anybody in his life who has compassion for him. Like his mom, he doesn't have a relationship with his mom. His dad's not in the picture. It's like alluded to that he's dead. He doesn't have any friends. So yeah, he like acts out and thinks he's he drives a fucking hearse. Which is, I think, fantastic. But how he spends his time is going to funerals and of just random people that he doesn't know. And at one of these funerals, he meets another person who likes to go to funerals, Maude, who is a 79-year-old woman who loves life and is so extravagant and does whatever she wants and has no qualms about anything. And the whole movie is kind of that basic premise where it's a romantic comedy. Like you meet somebody who like shows you what it's like to be alive, except in this case, she's 79 and like has Alzheimer's. and it's very silly and it's very, ridiculous, but I think it's so charming and so funny. I love her. The second that she comes on screen, it's just magical.
Yeah. On top of that, it's, I do think it's funny that it's the complete opposite of what we talked about with What We Do in the Shadows with the young, quote, vampire with the old lady, and he's like 3 times her age. We're dealing with a relationship that is intergenerational. No.
I guess. I don't know what you would call it.
But love is love. And
there's an age discrepancy for sure.
Definitely. But he's 20 in the movie.
Yeah.
So back in the 70s, I'm assuming, because I think you could actually, you could drink when you're 18, I think, back then. I forget where the law changed, but But with the relationship with the funeral, what I love about her, she has some of the most quotable. I was actually thinking about when you were mentioning about quotes last episode, is like her whole monologue about the flower and how everybody's focused on being this when for the most part people are like life treats you like shit. You know, we all want to be that flower, and it's like it was so profound, some of the things that she was saying, and just the carefree world. But I don't think a lot of the stuff that she would have gotten away with, that she got away with in the movie, would have worked if it wasn't the 70s. And when I say that, I mean it was technologically a simpler time back then. You could just jump in a car and drive away. Or like, you know, the cops weren't as much of a, you know, they could, it's like an old woman and she's like, okay, go by. Come on, let's get on her bike and just drive away, which is hilarious. But that's the
thing is I think she uses that. Like she like defies people's expectations of her. And I think
I'm saying having this movie in 2020 or this age, it would have been, I think it would have been harder to pull off the charm.
It would have been harder for sure, but I think one of the things is that it's also like, I think they tried to, at least for me, I got the vibe that it had like a small town setting. So I think you could still get away with it. You just have to like build that relationship with whatever cop. So he's like, it's Maude again. You know what I mean?
Tom Skerritt, by the way.
It was great.
From fucking Aliens.
Actually, I have a question about that. So that scene when she's driving away they're driving away on the bike and he pulls his gun. And he's like, and then shoots, but there's not. So what that? And then there's nothing in it. So I was just, what was that? Any ideas?
Thing is, well, yeah. I mean, that is something like, you know, we're dealing in a current era of time where police is, you know, it's very different context for sure. Like this is the 70s, like cops threatening to shoot people could be funny. I think it's just the gun misfired. I don't think it's anything.
Oh, really? Okay.
That deep.
But I don't think he's walking around with an empty revolver.
Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe that's what makes it ridiculous. I don't know. The police stuff in this movie is a little,
I almost,
dated.
But she lit. Yeah.
Sorry, I almost made the jump that like he was a little crazy and they had taken away his bullets and he knew that. I don't know, but like, you know what I mean?
Maybe that's it too. That's a fun read. I don't know. I think
just like my jump that he's a ghost.
Yeah, we're just reading too much into this. I don't know. I love anytime she's a carjacker. She's Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, she's like gets tired of one car, she takes another one.
Well, the whole thing of like parking on the sidewalk and the cops are in there trying to find whose car it is, and she's like, "Oh, come here, you know, Harold, let's just take this car," you know, and then nobody, you know, pays her any mind because she's an old woman, and you're like, "Okay, have a good day."
You can't take that; it's public property. Exactly.
And then she's like driving 50 around the corners. You know?
It's so good.
Well, the best is the first time they like, or the second time I guess they really talk. She's like, "Get in." And then they're driving around. She's like, "Oh, this is amazing. You ever driven a hearse before?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "How? Where?" And he's like, "This is my car." And she had stolen his car.
Yeah.
We talked, speaking of cars, she lives in a train car.
An abandoned train car.
Which is great. And it's like all these different things that she's collected or stole, presumably.
Well, there's an amazing moment where like, you know, she doesn't have anything in her picture frames. Like all of her picture frames are empty. She doesn't have any photographs. And then she goes, I hate photographs because I feel like they're making fun of me because their image is so sharp and clear and my memories are fading.
Oh, I missed that.
Which is like a thing where she's like, you know, she clearly has early onset Alzheimer's, early onset dementia. Not early, she's 79, but it's, you know, it's starting to happen. And I think that these, like you were saying, in the same thing with the flower monologue, like she has these moments of clarity and real dramatic weight to the things that she's saying. And that's, I mean, I think it's just an incredible performance. Like it's very wacky and quirky while still remaining like grounded in the reality that this movie sets up.
Right.
You know what I mean? She is a real person. I know we're going to get to the end, Brandon, when we get to the end, but when you see her tattoo, I don't know if you guys obviously caught the tattoo.
I don't think I did.
No, when they're holding hands in Sunset, she has a tattoo, a Holocaust tattoo.
I did not catch that.
Wow, I did
that's
not
amazing.
catch that.
Which is like one of the things that it's like, this woman has lived a fucking life.
But it also...
And never talks about it. It's all you need. You just see that.
And it forms that attitude to live every day to the fullest, for sure. Like that's really, that's amazing, character-wise.
Yeah, that actually adds a lot.
And also what you were saying, Caleb, about how she has these moments of real lucidity. So I didn't really think about or pick up on the vibe that she was, you know, had early onset Alzheimer's or anything like that. But you're right. One of the things I kept thinking is she switches back and forth between these very crazy, all over the place scenes where she's stealing cars, being a goofball, and then these moments where she's giving him advice or life lessons, and it's incredibly deep. And, you know, like you said, obviously as a performer, she's killing it, and it's an amazing back and forth. But to have that juxtaposition, and especially with what you're saying, I hadn't thought about the Alzheimer's thing, but it even more enforces that idea, and it's just impressive, very impressive, and very well done, and so entertaining.
Yeah. She tricks him. Like, you know, she's like, no, you're young and you have your life ahead of you. You should be looking forward to this shit. And she teaches him how to, it's weird because it is a romance, but it's also, she's like a mother figure. And I do think that this works because it's a young man and older woman. I think if the genders were reversed, it'd be a much different story. And you know, I do think Hal Ashby, they wanted to fucking film a scene of them, like a sex scene. And I think they should have fucking done it. But Paramount was like absolutely fucking not, which I think is sexist.
Hold on. I wanted to talk about that because I think one of the most profound images of the entire movie, and was so well done, is they do, like, there's obviously they go home one night and they have sex. It's like almost at the end of the movie. And the shot that they show is him sitting in bed in the morning, and they're at her place, and it's close up on him, and it zooms out, and he's just sitting there, and she's asleep, and he's blowing bubbles. And it's just, it's good. Such a good imagery. Or it's such good imagery.
Though, did you guys? I was weirded out by how much hair he had on his chest.
Are we going to talk? Yeah. Okay. As somebody who's had to deal with this,
sorry.
Like acting wise, yeah, I was like, hey, you probably should have shaved your chest, bro. You're playing Let's Get 20
it's the 70s, but I just expect, like, he's got such a baby face. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, you have a man chest.
It actually, that being said,
which goes like, how old was he when he filmed this?
I don't remember.
It actually made it less creepy though in that scene, if I'm honest. I was like, okay, yeah, it makes it less creepy in that scene.
It would look weird if he was just had a.
But then can we talk about the reactions of everybody in his life to the fact that he slept?
He's like, I want to marry Maude, and everybody's like, it's fucking disgusting. Which is like, why? They're perfect for each other.
Yeah, love is love.
Love is love.
Because it's not right. You know, it's the priest sitting here looking at the camera, going, can't imagining a nice, tight.
Oh
yeah,
God, it's so funny. It's so funny, but it's so funny.
Sleeping with an old
your taut body. Old like, saggy flesh. Just little shit like that. I love. There's so many moments I love. I love when he scares off the date and he just burns the camera. He like slowly looks into the camera. It's just like little moments like that.
Right. Okay. So he does actually look in the camera because we were Ryan and I were watching. We're like, oh shit, he actually broke that quote unquote fourth wall or whatever.
Which is just a little moment. It only happens once, but I think it's a nice little thing. He's like, yo, I'm like on a fucking row, dude. I'm like tearing shit up. I like it. I like it. He's like cheeky. Yeah. He's like letting us in on the joke. You know what I mean?
And I think you kind of needed that because I wanted to go on that journey with him because then you see the growth towards the end when the grief that he's feeling and the sadness when she's sicker.
Yeah.
Sorry, dying. You know that is real.
I wanted to thank you for bringing that up. Those moments, what really got me, especially performance wise, with the two of them, were their moments of silence. Their moments of really being locked in with each other, and you could see there was times where, and you know, I don't want to be too guessy about it or guessing at what they're thinking or what the hell was happening in the scenes for the performers, but there's the moment that she tells him that he just took the pills, the slow build reaction, and you can see them working together. You know what I mean?
But it's also fucking hysterical because like this guy who's been faking suicides the whole movie, she goes, yeah, I'll be dead by midnight, and they take it's so the comedic timing where he goes, what? And then they cut to the ambulance. Like it's hilarious. And then you think
it's a close up on his face for 20 seconds, maybe more.
It's long.
And it's fantastic.
I feel like it's probably closer to 10, but it is. It feels long.
But it was. You're right. And then that comedic beat of it coming in, it was perfect. And then Josh, the rest of, that until the end, he's doing a phenomenal job. You know, like I bought it all.
The moment, I like the moment in the middle when he explains why he fakes the suicides.
Yeah.
Because, attention, he like has a breakdown and, talks about like watching his mom like be performatively upset that he's dead or maybe. And then, so that's like a big first moment. And I think, also the end of, her choosing, like she chooses.
Right.
She actually commits suicide, and then that shows him that he has to live life, and it's like a really beautiful thematic payoff to the setup that's been at the whole movie. And she's like, no, like 80's the perfect time to die. I'm fine, and I love you. You know, I'm getting emotional because they are in love. But she's like, but I have to go ending. Because I'm done. You know, I did it, and I'm happy, and you've made my last moments happy. And I think that I choose to believe that him sending the car off the cliff but walking away with the banjo is him like, I'm now going to go live life. And I think it's a very beautiful thing.
And he's not just walking away, he's dancing away while he's playing.
Yeah, he's
like
playing his little tune, which Cat Stevens wrote for the movie, beautiful. By the way. If you want to sing out, and then like she has that in the movie, the piano, and then he's plucking along the banjo, and it's a really, really, really sweet ending. I think
it's
well, it shows.
Sorry, go ahead.
But then Caleb, what you're saying is like the bigger message, I think, is what probably does make it for me like, oh, that was a good film, is because it's, the song says if you want to be high, if you want to be low, be low. Like, you don't have to like live your life according to anything that anybody else says. And I think that's very poignant today. At the same time, back in the 71 or whatever.
It's a human experience.
It's a human experience.
Speaks to this broad experience that people have. Yeah.
Even with love, it's like, love is an emotion that's on a deep, like, soul, like a foundational thing that people experience, and you have to physically choose not to follow that if you don't want. Like, people are like, oh, I only date people my own age because I want to whatever. Right? But if you find that somebody that you really connect with mentally, emotionally, and physically, like, why not? And even back in 70, this movie was like, yeah, hey, here's what love looks like.
I mean, 69 was the summer of love, right? And like this, you have to assume it came out in 71. This like movie was probably filmed in the late 60s or 1970. Like that carryover of that free love mentality was definitely still a thing.
Yeah.
Especially in San Francisco. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Well, did anybody else think that he was going to end up with the actor chick? Like the actor girl that comes in?
No.
No, I think he thought that was dumb. I think he thought her Juliet was like, I don't know. He like, I didn't, no, he wanted to be with
Yeah, Maude. I know, but I thought there was, what I'm saying.
He'll go on to find love with somebody else, but
yeah, I think the three women that came in,
they're all so funny. They were all so good.
Oh, the one with the Sunday like belt girdle thing that she had.
Yeah.
And there's when he was burning himself in the backyard. But that shot of the mom and the interviewing the woman or whatever, and she's all so excited, like, my sister, and she's gonna be this, and I'm gonna be this. I have aspirations, and it's just this slow walk, single shot of him going, covering himself up, pouring gasoline. And she's
so funny.
And she just sees it out of the corner of her eye when he lights up in flames, and she screams and runs off, even though he's standing right there. He's like, "Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?" Yeah, I like it. It's like a little. He does these little magic tricks, which I think connects to what you were. Sorry, I want to bring it back to what you asked, Josh.
Yeah,
when he goes to the army recruiter, and he starts to get like too into it, and he freaks the army guy out. He's like, "I want to kill him! I want to fucking kill him!" And then Maude is like posing as the protester, and he's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill her." He's like, "Dude, relax." And somehow she falls through like a trap door to the ocean, but she's fine, and they don't explain it. And he's like, "What did you do?" Like it's just so goddamn funny. These little magic tricks. That was all a ruse. Like,
yeah,
Well, they talk about it right before because she's
like running away with this sign. She's like,
and
he's like, "I'm gonna."
She goes to Maude before and tells her what's happening, and he's like, "Is there anything we can do?" And she's like, "Yeah, with my experience and your skills, I'm sure there's something we can figure out."
Yeah, she's so encouraging and playful, and it
was a really fun movie, man. Like, and a really heartfelt movie at the end. I really liked it.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I was like quiet about it last time. I remember because we were listening back before we published the episodes, and you guys were like, "You don't want to say anything about it? Like, what is this thing?" I was like, "No, I just want you guys to go in and experience it." Because like, if I was like, "Yeah, it's a fucking comedy about a kid who tries to kill himself a bunch of times," you guys might have had different expectations. But it sounds like if you guys at least appreciated it, and I hope that you had fun, because I think it's really great.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what it goes back to what I was saying earlier in terms of these the different kinds of movies that we've seen that I do appreciate. Appreciate, even I may not have liked it. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I will. But I talking about it and like sitting down and not necessarily being forced to like watch it, but like watching it for this thing, and I'm just sitting there going, wow, like I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You see
not
the
my
appeal.
cup of tea, but I see what Caleb gets out of it, or what people who love it get out of it. And that's okay.
Different strokes.
So,
do you have anything else to say about it? I could just keep going on and on about how I love specific things, but if we want to.
no, I think the major themes have been brought up.
And again, I was just impressed. I was a big fan of the whole movie in general. The pacing, the music.
Thank you for giving it a shot.
Editing. There's
Cat Stevens. The music is so good. I really like it.
I mean, the music was such a huge part of it, and like really was phenomenally well done and worked so well.
I do feel like, just really quickly, because I skirted over. I meant to bring this up earlier. Just visually, I love it how it's presented. I think it's shot very well. It to me, it feels there are lots of shots that feel like, oh, Wes Anderson like probably loves this movie.
Yeah,
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And got like inspiration. Like, I love when they're in the cemetery and you see them with all the gravestones, like the white gravestones against
it pulls
the green,
out. Yeah,
is like a really cool shot. I like the shot of when he's in the pool and his mom's doing the laps. He's like floating there. Visually, I think it's also really well done, and we didn't really talk that much about it. I wanted to shout it out, but I love this movie. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's fucking really charming and sweet and excellent.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I liked it a lot, and there was a lot of things about it that opened my mind up, especially acting wise, with that kid's performance and the importance of slowing it down. I thought that was very impressive on his part. Obviously, the woman who plays Maude was a wrecking ball of an actress in it and was fantastic.
Ruth Gordon, she's fucking amazing.
But yeah, I thought he really took some moments, that kid, and really slowed it down, and it was really, it worked. It worked really well.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think it's better than middle of the road, but like I said, it's not my cup of tea. But I did laugh a couple times.
I'm glad.
And for me, the music was the best part for me, because I'm a music guy.
Real quick, because I totally forgot to do this, and Josh, thank you for reminding of this earlier. I am in Canada, and I was able to watch it on Amazon Prime. If anybody's interested in watching it in Canada.
Yep, it's Amazon Prime.
It's Amazon Prime.
Also Amazon Prime in the States. So nice and easy. If you want to watch this movie, go check it out on Amazon Prime.
Well, hopefully they watched it before.
Yeah. I said it's on Amazon Prime in both countries when I read.
No, I get it. So,
I'm just saying,
yes,
bro. I'm just saying.
If you want to watch it again after our discussion, Amazon Prime.
You have been reminded.
So
Josh, it's you.
That's finally. So that was our comedy cycle. I know there's hundreds of movies we could have picked, but I'm glad we picked those 3. Definitely, kind of casts a nice little net. So my next movie, because we didn't really pick a cycle this time, a movie that I happened to cross while I was at Barnes & Noble for the Criterion Collection little sale that's going on until August 2nd. Mm-hmm. A movie that Ryan picked out because he'd heard about it and was interested, called Tokyo Drifter.
Hell yeah, brother.
1960s, Japanese, and it looks like it's actually been said to be a lot of influence to a lot of directors and movie makers over time. But it's very John Wick.
Oh, it's not a race car movie. Okay.
No, it's not Tokyo Drift.
It's Tokyo Drift.
Don't say that like I'm crazy, for that's where my mind went.
No, it's Tokyo Drifter. It's about a man. So
it's about a man.
About a man. I'm not saying much more. I literally saw it and I thanked Caleb. I was like, I'm so excited because I know Caleb hopefully is going to really enjoy this movie.
I think
it's on the Criterion Collection, the streaming service.
Is there
I'm sure you can rent it. I didn't look it up. No.
That's
well, yes, no. There's subtitles. There are subtitles.
Okay, subtitles. Good. Cool.
Yep. So it's a foreign film, and if it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't have discovered it because I appreciate Japanese cinema. But this is even before House.
Oh.
So it's
a decade before House. It's 1966.
1966, and they did pull from a lot of like Western type of like they try to really set up the shots, but the shots are beautiful. I look forward to watching it again. I mean, I'm really, really excited on what you guys think. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked,
also
dude.
stoked,
really
dude. That's a great pull. I'm excited.
That's the oldest film.
Do you know who the director is?
I'm not Caleb. That's you.
I only ask because I know he's looking at it on his phone right now. I wasn't just gonna call you out like that.
I just don't know how to pronounce his name because I'll just fuck it up. It's Seijun Suzuki.
Oh.
I hope that's how you pronounce it.
I feel like you nailed the Suzuki part for sure.
Okay, yes. I feel like that's also fair. No, he has this other movie called Branded to Kill, which is pretty excellent, and he's made a bunch of other stuff. But no, I'm really excited to do this.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. I've been told that it influences a lot, and there's some bonus stuff on Criterion that I'm interested to dive into.
Amazing, I love it.
So
I love it.
Filmmaking at its finest,
dude.
So next week, Tokyo Drifter.
Should we watch? Oh wait, am I up next after that? Because then we're definitely gonna have to watch Tokyo Drift.
We'll watch Tokyo Drift and we'll have Marlon come on.
Do you guys want to do that? I could. Okay.
Yes. Let's ask him if he wants to. We can cut this out if it turns out to not be true.
It doesn't go well. Yeah.
But I want to do that.
No, but Josh, I'm super stoked. That's awesome. Japanese films, especially like the older Japanese films, is something that I've wanted to get into and watch. So dude, I'm pumped for that. Great choice.
Yeah, I'm really stoked.
Awesome.
Thank you, man.
I'm excited.
All right, so sign off.
Yes. Caleb, do you want to do it, or do you want me to?
I can do it. Yeah, thanks for watching 3MFAers on Harold and Maude. Join us next time for a fucking banger, Tokyo Drifter. You can find me, Caleb, at letterboxd.com/CJCASDS. You can go to filmreviewdaily.com for a new film review every day. Sometimes it's me. A lot of the time it's going to be other people. I think Brandon said he was going to link the video that I made in the description. So fucking debate me, you fucking plebs. Come at me, bro. I'm fucking.
I will link Caleb's YouTube video to our Instagram, so you can find it at
Instagram
3MFAers podcast on Instagram. I'll put it up on YouTube as well. It's 3MFAers podcast at YouTube. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and follow us individually when you can on the social media. Facebook, Instagram. At Stir STER. I forgot to do that last time. STER_Joshua, and then Brandon at Brandon Kyle McPherson.
Yep, thank you. Yep, right? At Brandon Kyle McPherson.
Yeah, so thank you for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So
bye.
Adios.
Bye.